Hi LEGO fans, we're back with one of the new Summer 2017 LEGO Friends sets. Today we're going to unbox, speed build and review set number 41318, the Heartlake Hospital. This set contains 871 pieces and is recommended for builders aged between 7 and 12. My daughter Meg got this for her 10th birthday and she's super excited to get this built, hence it's been bumped up the filming schedule. Friends has been an enormously successful product line for the LEGO group, and we've had lots of other things like theme parks and boats and other high octane activities, so it was inevitable that sooner or later our friends were going to need a hospital. And this is a super sharp looking set. The 871 piece part count includes 4 mini dolls, Olivia, Dr. Patel, Henry, and for the first time ever in LEGO Friends, we have a baby. This is baby Ola, who looks a little bit like a mummy. The hospital is built on 3 levels with a reception area and cafe on the ground floor. We have an examination room on the first floor, and it looks like we have an operating theatre at the top. We also have a helipad and a helicopter. And of course, we have an ambulance to transform our LEGO friends with their various maladies to the hospital. We're also getting a very curious looking wheelchair, which looks more like a go-kart. There's certainly a lot of stuff to play with here, and it's easy to see why this is going to be one of the top sellers of the year. Let's flip the box over and take a look at the back. Cool, so this gives us a great overview of the hospital, and we can see the back where we can actually get in there with the dolls and play. It also looks like the set is a modular build, so it can be taken apart. The backstory seems to be that Henry's fallen off his bike and he needs 2 doctors, a defibrillator, a helicopter and an ambulance. I sure wouldn't like to be paying his medical bills. It also looks like we have a nursery in the hospital, and here we can see Dr. Patel taking care of baby Ola. And there's Olivia having a hard-earned cup of coffee in the hospital cafe. This looks great fun, but I can't wait to see what's inside the box, so let's get this open and see what we've got inside. Here's everything you get inside the box. It looks like this is a 7-stage build because we have 7 numbered bags of Lego and a bag of base plates. We also have a build manual which is probably about 1/4 inch thick, and not 1 but 2 of the dreaded sticker sheets. We're going to go ahead and put this together, and this is going to be a 90-second speed build. And here's the completed build. This took 2 hours and 18 minutes to put together. You might have noticed we had 2 sets of hands working on this today. That's because my daughter was building and I was helping out. So say hi, Meg.
Hi, Meg.
So what do you think to this set, Meg?
I really like Baby Ola and the nursery.
And how challenging did you find this build?
I really think it was a good set for my age range, and I'm really excited to put it in my collection.
Awesome. And even from an adult's perspective, I found this great fun to put together. The only thing I didn't like, as always, is the number of stickers that LEGO put in these LEGO Friends sets. And especially given the younger age range of the audience, these can be really challenging to put on and put on right. But we work together and I think the end result is pretty good, don't you, Meg?
Yeah, it was awesome.
These LEGO Friends sets really do pop. I love the colours they use in these, and I know that a lot of adult fans of LEGO like to get these sets so that they can get the uniquely coloured elements for their own builds. This is a modular build, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different modules that we can configure in different ways. It also means that you can break it apart to play with the different elements of the hospital, and I think that's going to come in really useful when it comes to filming the insides of these rooms. Speaking of which, let's spin this around and take a look at the back.
Sure.
So here's the back of the hospital, and as you can see, it's configured in a modular fashion, a little bit like a doll's house. On the ground floor, we have a coffee shop, a reception area, and a nursing station. On the second floor, we have a nursery, a restroom, and a treatment area. And at the tippy top, we have our helicopter on the helipad and an open air operating theatre, which is quite bizarre. No, seriously, there is no roof on the operating theatre. Now that's great if you want to put another module on top of it, but I would have thought at least LEGO would have provided us with a blank plate so that the people getting operations wouldn't get rained upon. In fact, this would be a nightmare if you were having an operation and the helicopter decided to take off. Cool, so we've got loads to show you here. Let's get in a little bit closer and have a look at all of those details. For the purposes of filming, I am going to break this apart, and that just makes my life a whole lot easier. We're going to start out on the ground floor of the hospital, and we can see Nurse Olivia waiting to welcome a new patient into the hospital. Conveniently, at the side of the hospital, we have these opening barn doors, and here we can see Olivia waiting for the ambulance to arrive. We also have this canopy over the entrance with the Heartlake Hospital symbol on top. The ambulance is a very simple but functional build. We have room up front for 2 mini dolls, and room in the back for the gurney and for another mini doll to be transported to the hospital. The top of the driver's cab is removable so we can get our mini dolls inside. As you can see, there are a couple of these slots here so that we can push the mini dolls into place. At the back of the ambulance, you have opening doors so that we can get our patient in and out. You can just see Henry in there on the gurney. We also have stickers on the inside of the doors showing some of the medical equipment the ambulance carries. And a license plate that simply says emergency. This is the gurney, which you can either use inside the hospital or it fits quite conveniently into the back of the ambulance. Unfortunately for Henry, he's having quite the day and he's wearing a plaster cast on his broken hand. You can also see there the X-ray of his hand on the gurney. It seems that Henry broke his hand falling off his bike. This is the standard LEGO bike that's compatible with normal minifigures, but it doesn't quite work with the LEGO Friends mini dolls. Allow me to demonstrate. Here's a classic minifigure from the early 1980s, and he sits beautifully on the bike. His legs go all the way down to the bottom, and he can grip onto the handlebars, no problem with his hands. It just works absolutely fine and shows how compatible old LEGO is with new LEGO. The problem with LEGO Friends mini dolls is that they are slightly taller because of their longer legs, and they also have fixed hands, so the hands cannot pivot round to grip the handlebars. And that's a big problem for Henry because he sits way too high on the bike and he can't reach the handlebars properly. And even if he could, he couldn't grip them. So it's no wonder Henry's in hospital with a broken wrist. But we do get this very nice plaster cast, which you can see on Henry's arm. And it's really neat the way this fits on, because if we pivot up his arm, you can see it's actually hollow on the underneath. And we have this stud here, or this little rod that his hand can grip onto. And that's how we keep the plaster cast on Henry's arm, just like so. Another limitation with the LEGO Friends mini dolls is that they don't have holes on the back of the legs, so you can sit them on studded LEGO pieces. This makes it slightly difficult to build things for LEGO Friends mini dolls to sit in. For example, a wheelchair. On the left you can see our wheelchair user from the LEGO City bus station set, which I reviewed recently. As you can see, the wheelchair looks perfect. It looks just like a real wheelchair and the minifigure sits nicely within. Henry's wheelchair, on the other hand, looks slightly awkward. It's elongated and looks a little bit more like a go-kart. That's because he has these long, thin legs, so we have to use this special piece in the end to be able to wedge his legs into the wheelchair. At the front of the hospital, we have stairs and a ramp to help disabled users get inside. And we also have these very cool sliding doors which open up to reveal the reception area. Inside the reception area, we have a desk for the receptionist to sit at. And there is a computer, a notepad, a beautiful bunch of flowers, and the all-important cup of coffee, plus a wet floor sign in case the receptionist knocks it over. Hospitals often have fish tanks to reduce the anxiety of the patients, and it's great to see two aquatic friends here in their tank enjoying themselves. And we also have a little container there for the fish food. We also have a water cooler complete with cups to keep staff and patients well hydrated. To the side of the reception area, there's a great little area where people can relax and grab a cup of coffee or maybe even a bar of chocolate. There's also a magazine to help people while away the time while they're waiting, and it looks like somebody's left 5 cents behind, which is good because that's the exact price of a cup of coffee. On the upper level, there's a treatment area specifically for dealing with broken bones. And there's Henry again. It looks like he's just had his plaster cast applied to his wrist. There are some really neat features in this room. You can see we've got this dangly skeleton, and if I give him a shake, you can see his arms shake about. We've also got this area here with bandages and plaster casts and this pair of scissors. We actually get 2 of those as a spare that comes with the set. And if we turn this around slightly, you can see we've got this storage cupboard on the wall for various medicines, and it looks like we've got a defibrillator unit in there also. At the other side of the room, we have the all-important X-ray machine, which is being demonstrated by the long-suffering Henry. This is my favourite room from the hospital. This is the nursery, and here you can see Dr. Patel with the marvellous baby Ola. Baby Ola has her very own birth certificate and baby book commemorating her birth. And according to the baby book, she was either born on the 9th of October or the 10th of September, depending on whether you live in the USA or in Europe, because of course we mix up the dates and the months between the 2 date formats. Either way, the slightly creepy thing is that both of those dates are in the future. As I film this today, it is the 29th of July 2017, and whichever one of those dates baby Ola was born on, she's not been born yet. This is Dr. Patel and baby Ola. Baby Ola is swaddled in this green blanket, and she's a very simple element, which is just green plastic and a printed face, but she's very cute and definitely a first for LEGO Friends. Here's a quick view of the back so you can see the back of baby Ola, and as you can see there's a hollow out there so you can put a stud in the back of her, or you can hold her like this. It's all sounds pretty creepy, but anyway, that's baby Ola. This is the restroom next to the nursery, and it's fully featured. We have a toilet, soap dispenser, and a sink to wash our hands. There's also this convenient diaper bin and somewhere to weigh baby Ola. Looking a little bit more closely, I'm not sure that's actually a sink to wash your hands, and as you can see, baby Ola sits nicely within there, so that might actually be a baby bath. And the other thing you can see from this angle is we have these decals on the wall, and that is our baby changing area. On the other side of the restroom, we have various things alongside the toilet. We've got a handrail there, we've got a toilet roll, which of course you need, and various posters reminding us to wash our hands, brush our teeth, and I think that might be an emergency call button just in case we run into some trouble. Back into the nursery, we get a crib, which is somewhere for baby to sleep. We also get a feeding bottle, there's some art on the wall, and a great mobile above the crib. Outside the nursery, we have these beautiful flowers on the window ledge, and you can see we've got the blind on the side with the toilet, so we can wind that down to get some more privacy. On the top floor, we have our operating theatre, complete with operating table and all of the equipment we need to work within. We have a really useful little medical trolley here with lots of implements that we might need to make somebody better. There's even a laboratory within the operating theatre so that we can check out samples. As you can see here, we've got a little sink with running water, and we have a microscope so we can check out those nasty bugs. There's also a magnifying glass for checking out these creepy bacteria down here on the plate. And we have a life support machine, which contains this equipment here to check on the vitals of the patient as they undergo their operation. We also have lights above the operating table to help our doctors do their work. The operating theatre is at the top of the hospital, and if we turn it around, we can see we've got some more flowers on the outside, but we also have the hospital sign at the top there. And I really like this. I love the way they've put a band-aid on the outside. And if you want to, you can even spin that around, but I'm going to leave it in this angle here. Like any emergency hospital, sometimes it's necessary for patients to arrive by helicopter, and the good thing is that we have our very own helicopter at Heartlake Hospital. This is not the most convincing helicopter build. It's very simple. We have a simple canopy there, and it would be very easy for the mini doll to fall out. We also don't have anybody here who is kind of dressed up as a pilot with a headset or anything like that. So I'm going to have to assume that Olivia is fully qualified to fly the helicopter. The other thing that is quite alarming is that the helicopter has no room in the back for the patient. So we have this stretcher down below, which is simply dangling from the helicopter by a hook. I mean, come on guys, this guy will be lucky to arrive at the hospital alive. But it is a toy, and you do have to use your imagination somewhat. After dropping off the patient, the helicopter can land on the helipad on the roof of the hospital. There are a couple of details missing from this hospital. Firstly, there are no stairs or elevators to get up and down between the levels of the hospital. Secondly, there are no doors between these different modular sections. So for example, when the helicopter lands on the helipad, there is no door to rush the patient into the operating theatre. But that's a small price to pay for a great fun play set that can be broken up into different elements and put together in different ways. It really does spark the imagination of how we can play with this hospital. So that was set number 41318, the Heartlake Hospital from LEGO Friends. With how many pieces, Megan?
871.
Megan and I really hope you enjoyed this unboxing, speed build and review video.
So please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more.
We're putting out 2 new LEGO review videos every week, so there's always something new on the channel to come back for. Before we go, I do have to give a shout out to the channel's biggest fan, and thank you for watching, Sam Brown.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next build video.
Alright, nice job Meg.